The Tesla car brand has quickly become one of America's top-selling cars, and today with me we have a Tesla Model Y, and this is going to be one of the biggest Tesla models you can buy if we ignore the Cybertruck. But today we're going to be talking about whether or not your interest in this car is valid, or if you should skip it and move on to some other electric cars. But let's get right into it. My name is Trent, and you're watching God Next. So starting off with the front of this Tesla Model Y, first thing you'll notice that I think this is one of the ugliest cars on the market. It is so boring looking, and not just this car specifically, just Tesla models in general. They all have the same exact shape, design. The Model 3 Performance and all those cars are just a shrunken down version of this car. It's a little bit shorter, but these cars are super boring looking to me. And you guys probably remember cars from the 80s. You used to think cars from the 80s, the boxy design, super basic looking, simple, they were boring. Congrats, this is the new boring car of today's times. These are everyday traffic. You don't notice anything different about them. You see them every intersection. I counted at one intersection, I counted 11 Teslas, white Teslas, and I was like, nobody wants to see multiple of the same car on the road. But they have done some things, I guess, up here that do stand out a little bit. These were some of the first fully electric car brands, and that's the reason they became so popular in the electric market, just because they were one of the first ones to fully do it. But up here they do have that signature Tesla headlight, which it looks decent. I'm not that big of a fan of it, but you definitely know it's a Tesla just by the headlight design across all their models. You've got the no grill. Again, this is a Tesla car, so you don't need a grill, but I do like it when electric car brands do implement that, so it looks a little bit more like a regular combustion engine car. It gives it more detail and stuff like that. It just looks so plain and simple up here. Like, I'm not a big fan of plain and simple. If you are, you know what, more power to you, that's cool. But as a car person, I'm just not a big fan of it. But up here, you've got your frunk. You don't have an engine up here. But speaking of the engine or the batteries, this car, I will give it to it. It's pretty powerful. It's got 400, almost 500 pound-feet of torque, as well as the horsepower. It's up there in the 400. So it is a pretty fast car. Electric cars are known for their torque. They're great for, right off the line, but these aren't the fastest cars on the road. Yes, they take off fast, but if you're going for a long distance, this thing's gonna get passed by a lot of cars. It's fast, but not the fastest. I hate to break it to you guys. There's a few things I do like that Tesla does inside of the car. That being, they do have the cameras right here on the side. They're kind of hidden as little vents, but they are nice for if you have that Sentry Mode, you can see what's going around your car when you're not at it. So I do like that feature. This one does have the black wheels. They look sporty. They do add a lot of contrast to the white paint, so I will give it to them on that, but I don't like the design of the wheels. One, they are meant for aerodynamic purposes. They're meant to give you better range and all that good stuff, but I think they could have done a better job with that. One thing I absolutely hate on this car are gonna be these door handles. And the reason I don't like them is because earlier we getting in the car, we had our hands full. It's super hard to pull this, and you have to open it by pushing in one side, pulling on the other. And they honestly, it seems like they just took that from the Lamborghini Huracan. Another thing that's a little weird is this right here is going to be your key. You push it up against the door, it unlocks the door. It's what you use to start your car. They say it's great for convenience because you can just stick it in your wallet. You know what else is also convenient? Just putting a keyless entry key inside my pocket and pressing push to start. They all do the same thing, but this one's a lot easier to lose in my opinion. So I'm not a big fan of this. But if we move all the way to the back of the car, again, the back of the car looks the same as all the other Tesla models. There's nothing special about it. You've got your standard taillights, but you do have quite a bit of trunk space back there. So they do really improve upon that on this car. It's got a lot of space, so you don't have to worry about, running out of space when you're doing grocery shopping. It's a great car for families, I would say, but I'm just personally not a big fan of it. And if I was going to buy an electric car, I wouldn't be going for something like this. But let's move on to the interior and the overall driving experience. So now that we're sitting inside the Tesla Model Y, let's talk about some of the features inside this car. I will give it to Tesla. They do have a lot of technology in this car, so if you are tech savvy, this is the perfect car for you. But let's say you're not so tech savvy, you're gonna struggle a lot with this car. Everything is done through the infotainment screen on this car. So if you want to adjust your climate controls, you wanna open your trunk, your frunk, the doors, the charging door, you gotta open it up through there. But it's a lot of technology. I'm not a big fan of it. I think it's a dumb thing for the automotive market, because you also have your speedometer on there. So if I'm driving, instead of just glancing down real quick to see how fast I'm going, to make sure I'm going with the speed of traffic, I've got to take my eyes off the road completely, look towards where the radio would be, which honestly is a little bit more dangerous, I think, than just looking down at your speedometer. So I think it's just a dumb thing. I hate that about Teslas. It doesn't make any sense, especially for the car market. If it was a big screen on the passenger side, sure, great. That'd be the perfect choice for this car. But overall, interior, it's not the best. It's build quality, honestly, is trash in here. There's a lot of creaking, a lot of plastic, a lot of fake leather. It's not up to standard with car brands. And I've worked for plenty of different car brands. I know there's tons of different quality. And this is honestly the bottom line. I've seen Fords with better, and we all know Ford, they're sometimes not the best. They've gotten a lot better, but this doesn't even compete with that. It just feels plasticky. Some of these doors don't even close correctly, and I've been trying to close it for the past hour I've been in this car, and I can't seem to get to close it. I think it seems like it's broken. But let's talk about the driving experience. Driving this car, it's not too bad. It's like every other electric car. I hate the regenerative braking in this car. People say that when you drive this car, the people in the backseat, they start to feel sick, but that's because of the regenerative braking. I let off the gas and it feels like it's slamming on the brakes. I know you're supposed to kind of feather the pedal a little bit, slowly let off to make it a little bit smoother, but if you're going from driving a standard combustion engine car to something like this, you're not going to remember that, and you're going to get that queasy feeling when you're driving. And you can turn it off, but who wants to have to deal with that? The regenerative braking, it makes sense, but it doesn't need to be so aggressive. But again, more of the driving experience. I did say before, the speedometer is right here, so it's a little odd. I'm not used to looking to that side, and I hate that there's no dash. It just feels odd. It doesn't feel like I'm driving a car. It feels like I'm driving a golf cart. Most golf carts don't have dashes, so that's what it feels like. The turn signals, you really got to push on them up and down to get them to work. I do like that there are cameras on the side of the car, so when I am turning, I can see it, but this car has a lot of issues that are not meant for a car person. The driving experience is not a car person's driving experience. People out here say, oh, well, Teslas are so great because they're so fast. Yeah, they're fast, but they're not a car person's car. And if you say it's a car person's car, you're not a car person. This car has no soul. It has no personality. It doesn't make me feel anything. It just feels like daily traffic. I feel like I'm driving a car that I'm going to see 20 more of these cars in the next hour. It's not special. It's not fun. I wouldn't even consider buying a car like this if it was me. But if you're going for that technology, you're going for the fuel economy, you like the car how it looks, okay, that's great for you. But don't buy this car because I'm a car fan, but I want to get an electric car. It's not for you. Overall, though, I'm not a fan of Tesla, as you guys can probably tell. I don't think this car is a viable option for you if you want something that's sporty, fun, and electric. There's plenty of other options out there that you can get. They're a lot more fun. I think they have better driving experiences, but if you do like the looks of this car, you like the fuel economy, and you're okay with a lot of the driving issues, the regenerative braking, sure, get this car. This is for you then. But I would advise to keep looking. There might be better options for you out there. You never know what you can find. But if you guys want to see more videos like this in the future, and you guys want us to talk more about Teslas, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next video.